Hello, everyone, and welcome to Euphoria, the channel dedicated to uplifting the talent and diversity of the European TTRPG scene. Today, we are very excited to be playing the beta release of Children of Time from Rowan, Rook and Decard with our very special guest. My name is Michelle Kelly. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a mixed race woman with black hair pinned back into a ponytail, wearing a black vest top and a blue and white wrap over the top.
Hi, my name is Aida. My pronouns are she and her. I'm a Latinx woman of color. I'm an immigrant in the Netherlands. I have tan skin, dark eyes, dark hair that is pulled up into a very big bun over my head, and I'm wearing a neon pink cowl top.
Hi, my name is JC Darcy. I use they, them pronouns. I am a white, femme presenting non binary person with mid length brown hair, big brown glasses, and just a black t shirt.
And hello, I am Elaine Lithgow. I am a white Scottish woman. I have sort of sandy brown hair tied up as well because it's too hot, and I have large, sort of thick frame plastic glasses, which I claim are still fashionable in the year 2026.
Content warnings for this AP include fire, burns, social manipulation, creation of a sci fi religious entity, heroic self sacrifice, claustrophobia, smoke inhalation, social ostracization, and a general threat peril. If any of these things are not to your liking, then please feel free to skip this one, come and join us for another game, step away whenever you need to. Otherwise, strap in.
When the old empire burned, it took Earth with it. An unstoppable tide of electronic, biological, and nuclear war scoured the planet clean. And so, we left. Aboard the Ark ship Brunhilde, we carry our meager archive of humanity's past and the sole hope for humanity's future. We are the stewards of Earth's plant life, its culture, its technology. But our journey is long. Our plants are mutating. Our culture is evolving. And our technology is degrading. With each passing year, we wonder if we will burn too.
In this moment, I will take on the play stance of Doom, and I shall announce for us the crisis that we will be facing in this particular chapter of the Ark ship Brunhilde's adventure across the stars. One of you, one of us, is sleeping in a rest cubby somewhere. We have been thawed out. We were looking after some of the plants that we were testing, etc. As our sort of dramatic camera pans through the groaning, creaking old ship midway through its adventure, we see some thick smoke starting to trickle out of one of the air conditioning vents down and filtering through like the atmosphere and picking up the nose of somebody who is lying sleeping in their cot. So who amongst us at this point wants to take the role of the viewpoint and be the person who's woken up here? You know, who's sleeping? Are you alone? As well is another question that can be. So anybody would like to pick up the viewpoint role right now?
Interesting. I think I play an engineer, and I feel that engineers, where possible, they like to sleep as physically close to important mechanical bits of the ship. It's kind of also a physical closeness with it. And they're the most in tune with the right creak or the wrong creak of the ship, the right groan, the wrong groan, the right smells. This is a wrong smell. This is a very
Yeah.
wrong smell. And my engineer's name is Maiku. The pronouns are they and them. And engineers on the Brunhilde are very diligent people. They take a lot of pride in their work. Engineers have to be very thorough, and it's a point of pride in them. They know that if they ever leave something halfway that could lead harm, that is an inexcusable, wrong value at fault. We're the caretakers of the thing that takes care of us. And this smell could lead to something that is going to be very bad. So Maiku sits up from their cubbyhole and immediately just reaches over. I'm assuming there's a utility belt with the usual gadgets for measuring.
Mhm.
We're going to touch the walls, feel for any humming on the issues, and with one hand constantly on the wall, follow their nose. Walk deeper into the ship, take a couple of turns. Starts going up, but decides no, it's down. To go down a level, takes an escape hatch. This ship is very patchworked. I wouldn't say it's duct taped it over, if duct tape is a thing in our universe, but it was very much repainted. There are definitely old and new levels of screws applied in here at all levels. The further deeper into the bowels we go, the more rusted, but the more cared for. That smell is getting stronger. Would I see, maybe I see lights getting darker? Would I know? Is this something I can decide? Does the ship know? Are there alarm systems triggered?
This would be a fantastic point for us to ask someone else. Since this is like a GM full democratized GM game, this is you are currently embodying this viewpoint thing. The camera, etc., is on you. But someone else at this point, because you're essentially asking, um, how is the ship being affected by this? Someone else could pick up the play stance of the arc, embodying this ship, and you get to say where the fire is and how that's manifesting, etc., etc. So, would anyone else love to be the arc for this scene?
I would love to be the arc for this scene. So I think that as Maiku is kind of starting to wake up and become attuned to the senses and move through the ship, they can hear a repetitive alarm sound. I think that it's not what you as an engineer would expect to hear when there's actively smoke. I think it's one of the more kind of have you heard of like alarm fatigue? When you're working a job where there's a lot of bings and boops and noises, you start to just wash over, they start to wash over you. And I think it's one of those beeps that usually just washes over you. And I think the computer core voice is just calling out through the ship and saying, unusual readings detected in habitation deck. Unusual readings detected in habitation deck.
What could be anything? Is that a mouse running through? Is that unless a mouse is having a barbecue? Okay.
So we kind of built our ship's areas and we built out a habitation deck. Do I need to pick like a certain location within there that this is
Yeah.
is the locus of this?
Hmm.
Um, so I think we're gonna go with the communal kitchen area that we created. Um,
That does make
I
sense. The
it
first thing to go
does.
up is someone has burned something,
Yeah.
and
So I think that maybe this even could be why the ship it's detected smoke, but it's in the kitchen area. And I wonder if at some point somebody adjusted something because they were sick of like burnt toast setting off all of the ship's alarm systems at high alert.
oh,
So because of this, it's just kind of doing a low level um alerts that
hmm,
something unusual. Someone should check that out. But it could just be that someone tried to microwave their popcorn. And I think that's what it is. This large open space, which everyone, when it's their turn to be thawed out, likes to gather and try to make the best food they can out of what rations they have on this ship. It's a valuable place because it's a place where people come when they're not working, which is rare, and it's a place which currently it seems might be up in smoke.
yeah. So, I will, as one of the other play senses here, I can be the guide who is sort of the rules nerd, the person who maybe know who can sort of keep track of all the little bits and pieces of the system and the mechanics and whatnot. So we've had like our initial sort of like first sort of crumb of the scene and everything. Our person who's playing the arc has established this, and the fire is in our communal kitchen, which means that we can start the inferno clock, gang. Oh yay!
Oh,
Um,
It sounds fun, but I don't think it is.
I don't think it's like a disco inferno clock.
No.
No, no. This is a six tick sort of clock, if you imagine a clock face, etc. And immediately, as soon as the fire is placed, we have 2 ticks on our clock. This clock will increment, as in the fire will get worse and bad things will happen whenever a scene ends, marking the passage of time. If 6 hours pass, if somebody chooses to sabotage the fire for some reason, or affected locations suffer fallout, things get worse, etc. And we can attempt to remove ticks through rescuing people from the fire, like trying to fight the fire, etc. So I can I've got this nice little clock here that we can keep track of. But right now it's only 2 because we're still in this first scene, so we can ping back to Maiku as you're sort of, I guess, entering in the kitchen, right? And seeing this fire.
Hand on the wall, it reaches the path ultimately reaches to that communal space. The space is, you know what? Today, it's neat. It's clean by the ship's standards. It's usually a bit of a mess here. It's not biohazard mess, but it could be improved for safety purposes, of course. And I'm going to say that in a wash receptacle, in a wash basin, there is something smoldering, which is really unusual because maybe this is a disposal vent or something, but there shouldn't be a source of a fire. There's no heat source, there's no oil, but something is burning, and this is more unusual and deeper. I'm gonna say the closer Maiku gets to it, the more astringent and the stronger the smell. So, first step will be suppress fire, fire extinguisher. One assumes, one hopes.
Yeah. So Uh, Darcy, you've not picked up a play sense yet. Would you like to? There's a couple of fun things you could pick up here if you like. You could
Mm.
you could play Doom, so you could make the situation worse. There's also the crowd, which we haven't touched yet. If you want to
I
pick up and
had
see what all the NPCs in the scene are doing
I had
around.
wondered if maybe as Maiku heads in, like further into this habitation, into the communal kitchen rather, and I'm assuming the smoke swirling all over the place, so visibility is quite low. But as they approach closer and closer, perhaps there is another crew member in there somewhere. I wonder if they're potentially Maiku might encounter them by tripping over them as they are seemingly unconscious on the floor,
Oh,
perhaps.
Yeah.
Just to add a
oh,
little mystery. We
interesting.
love a bit of mystery.
Ooh.
No, good
It
shout.
implies there's maybe like the fumes and like maybe
Mhm,
this has been like a slow like a carbon monoxide thing has happened before the
mhm.
smoke's even hit. So, that's why the alarms are not exactly blaring because it's been
Mm.
slow creeping in this fire.
Why aren't those alarms blaring? Higher alarms should have been on. Have we been sabotaged? I can't do this alone anymore. I have to call for backup. So, um, I have a GoPro here. Beep boop beep boop beep boop. I need assistance. Something is wrong. I need assistance. I don't think I can fix this alone. I need a medical team. I need someone from the leading crew. Help.
Mm.
Excellent.
Yeah, so being the crowd, being the NPCs, I guess you would reach security, I suppose.
Totally.
Mm.
So yeah, you would immediately reach the head of security is on shift at the moment, and you just hear this kind of thin, reedy voice come back. Where are you? Tell us where you are so we can send somebody down.
You mean you can't see my location on the I'm never mind. I'm in the communal kitchen. There's at least one person unconscious. I think smoking inhalation. I need them assisted so I can try to get in, take out the fire. I need more hands. I
Okay.
also need higher emergency level. I need alarms blaring. People need to close their doors. People need to not leave their rooms.
Okay, relax, relax. We're on skeleton crew this cycle, so just sit tight. Try and get that person out of there. It sounds like they need immediate medical help.
We're gonna
Try and
turn
get
into skeletons if you don't get a little more stressed about this.
stress doesn't help. I'm trying to de-escalate. Stay calm, do deep breathing exercises. Stay low. If the smoke, stay low. Just remember that. And we'll send somebody right along.
Don't know about deep breathing when the smoke is. That's
Sure.
Yeah.
this security team member is gonna they're
Stand on
gonna
your tippy
have some
toes,
words from
deep
the head.
breaths.
Deep breaths.
Yeah. This
Uh,
is very appropriate of anyone who's called like an emergency services thing, and you're like, my life is everything is wrong, and they're like, okay, deep breaths, being etc. And you're just like, ah! The ship's on fire.
Nothing less calming than being told to stay calm. It immediately sends me like,
Yeah. So I think I will say at this point, that like elsewhere in the ship, like this reedy voiced person is getting in touch with the head of security, Junus, who is inclined to take a report that someone is unconscious a bit more seriously and
mhm.
with a bit more urgency. The security team, one of their legacies, one of the guiding principles of who they are, is that you can trust security to adapt to the task at hand swiftly and effectively. So I think that as soon as this reedy voiced individual is kind of just calmly saying, "Then she seems
Yeah, she
very
sounds very stressed out. If you could get down there and maybe just take a look, I think that would calm her down a lot. Thank
he's
you.
already moving. He's a tall man, broad shoulders, set jaw, just striding as fast as he can. He's not going to run because if he's out of breath when he gets there, he won't be able to help, but he is striding briskly to the location. But I think maybe he's a little way away, so probably Maker's going to have to figure something out in the meantime before help arrives.
If this was a movie, would it just like cut and you would just see the flashes of you grabbing like a security belt, and if it's like it's all real rack shot close up as like belt, suit goes on and everything, and then the
Zip
door
up.
stomp as you're down the stairs.
Comms
Yeah,
headset. Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly. Yes,
hmm
definitely.
amazing. Okay, so do we want to call an end to this scene here? As Michael sort of waiting for aid, or are you going to try and like jump to and help like in this scene immediately? Do you reckon?
I think the former is I want to see what
Mhm.
happens narratively. Maybe this becomes
Mhm.
harder for security, which is also fun narratively.
Mm.
Indeed. Okay, so in that case, that would sort of be the end of that scene here. So as the guide slash nerd person, the fire gets worse. Um, yeah. Anybody want to tell us how the fire gets worse? I could say actually potentially. I like the idea of because we've established that there's what do you call it? There's been like some kind of like gas or like a vapor or something like and it's only a small fire right now, which is saying like chemical fire or something to me.
Mm.
Hmm.
And you mentioned this is in like a sort of like a hamper or something. So I wonder if this is like an old battery that's been reused and reused until the point it's broken down. You know the concept of a spicy pillow,
Yep, yep, yep.
etc. And it's like a little comms hand or something that's just been in someone's pocket, and it's just that's it. And it's like this sign of the deterioration of the ship that the basic technology that's in your pocket at this point in the journey could cause this big problem.
I like that.
And that's sort of like in the same way that you see footage of these batteries, they start off as just a little bit of smoke, a little bit of chemical badness, and then suddenly it's just like, psh, and it like whoosh, and the hamper goes up in flame as the fire gets worse, and it starts going up into the sprinklers, etc. At which point our fire suppression system should trigger, but one of our first response like scenes that we can sort of tag here is the fire suppression system fails to trigger, and we now have to choose one of our characters, and it's your fault that it hasn't triggered. So who botched the installation, and why didn't you have what you needed?
Can I jump in on that one?
You
Okay.
absolutely can, yeah.
So, my crew member is young Jessamine, she they. She is key crew. And key crew are the shaven-headed sort of everybodies, the work guys who are just around doing all the sort of key the title names the clues right there. All the key jobs that need doing, such as installing and maintaining systems like this. Now, because each key character that we have picked up has a role, the one that Jessamine has ended up with is failure. So
Hmm.
she is
I wonder
innately
why.
I can't imagine why. She's so good at her job. Um, and so yeah, we cut to her probably fast asleep, probably not even aware that this is happening. She is quite a young person, again, with that the recognizable shaven head of Key Crew. She's quite willowy, and when she's awake, she's quite timid and uncertain. I think she's very
Oh,
respectful
no.
to the point of fear of authority. And she's trying her best, okay? She's trying her damn best, but the ship is falling apart. And what was the question you asked? Why didn't I have what I
Why?
needed?
Yeah. Why didn't you have what you needed?
Gosh, I think she just misplaced it. I think she was given all the right tools
Yes.
and she just didn't have the right, you know, turbo screwdriver or whatever. So she used one with a slightly larger head. And when you use a screwdriver or something on a screw that isn't quite right, and it can like erode the inside so that it
Mm.
doesn't quite spin
Strip
enough.
it. Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
strip it, that's the word. There was a bit of that, and it was just like, it's not all the way in, but I'm sure that's fine.
Oh,
But actually, what that means is that that plate didn't connect to that plate, which means that that connection is not solid enough. It's just ever so slightly off, and so the signal isn't running all the way through to the control panel, and the big old sirens are not blaring. But right now, she's
Mm.
completely unaware of this.
Do you think that it was also Jessamine who turned down the sensitivity on the sensors to
No, surely not.
try and stop?
No.
Yeah, okay. Well, sure, it must have been someone else.
She'll never
They're
admit
so
to it
like
anyway.
or
She'll
maybe
never
it
admit
wasn't.
it.
Maybe it wasn't Jasmine who specifically did that, but someone mentioned. Sometimes you know how far you burnt your toast, so you turn off your smoke detector. But it was
Mm.
someone else's job to
Mm,
change it back.
Mm,
yes.
mhm,
Maybe Jessamine job was to ensure it was working after the fact, even if they themselves did not adjust it.
and
Mhm.
didn't do it
It's
properly.
it's one of those. It's Thursday morning, and I have a task list of I have to check 50 different systems, and I'm behind schedule, and I'm a young 20-something trying to prove myself. So I'm just going to quickly get through these. It's probably fine. It's probably fine. I just installed that the other day.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That sort of thing. Yeah, I love that. That's great. Let's wake you up though, right?
Yeah, I reckon so.
Anyone wanna do something to wake up? We have Doom, we have the crowd, etc. Or another player character can kick in the door for some reason
Uh,
as well.
do you want to choose someone to be in this scene, Elaine? I think
Mm,
you haven't been in a scene yet.
Uh, oh, as in like my character.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
or
could
the crowd if you want.
potentially, yeah. The crowd is fun. I think with like our head of security starting to like get through the ship, you're probably already immediately on like comms talking to people.
Mhm.
And I think there's probably because these are like there's not many actual beds for people who are awake because most of the crew are in cryogenic storage. There's like 50,000 humans, which are our cargo inverted commas for anyone who's listening. So if you hear people referring to cargo, that's human beings, frozen popsicles, the last remnants of humanity that we have to try and save.
Mhm.
So I think lots of us are in like really tight racks and bunks and everything. So you're sleeping, dreaming wistfully of checked boxes that you totally did, and fire suppression systems you totally installed. When like some of your like bunk mates who are like maybe on security and like in firefighting detail get like the call through from the head of security, and there's like suddenly the little room you're in, if you imagine like this sort of like military submarine bunker situation where there's like three racks on top of each other. People are leaping down and hitting the deck with like heavy boots and scrambling and shouting and everything, and you're like jolted awake.
yeah, she definitely
And
like sits up too fast and thwacks her head on the bunk above her. It's like, ah, I forgot that was there. I always forget that's there. What's going on? Like, imagine there's like a curtain, a privacy curtain on each one. She's peeling it back and looking out. Where are you all going? What's happening?
fire! There's a fire in the mess hall. Wait, you installed that system, didn't you? You
No,
should come.
definitely
You
no, I
know,
didn't.
no, you know how it works. Come on, come on, come on. They're
Yeah,
saying
I
it's
do.
not
I
working.
definitely
Someone
know
needs
how
to
it works.
fix it.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, come on, come on, get your clothes on. Come on.
Sleeping out.
Um,
I think she leaves pajama top on and then like tucks it into her work trousers and has mismatching socks and mismatching boots. But yeah, one of her beats is deny having ever done anything wrong. So it's going to be blanket denials throughout. She's never going to take any sort of accountability for this.
incredible. Okay. So people seem to be converging upon our scene here. Um, what's the who wants to pick up like the next sort of stretch of this scene? Uh,
Um, can I pick up the Doom play
yeah.
stance? I want to make it a little bit trickier here. I don't think like something's a bit off with how the ship is responding to this emergency. So I think that as Jessamine and some of the security team are like running to get to where the fire is, I think that finally it has gotten bad enough to activate some of the ship's security systems. And I think that you just see in front of you, Jessamine, one of the ship's doors across this corridor just closing.
Mm. Oh.
As the ship, the computer sort of rings out saying, "Emergency on habitation deck. Fire doors are now locked."
Oh, that's not good. Oh dear.
Incredible. I like that one of the notes on the playset says that you can put it down when you think you've made the characters' lives hard enough. Um, so until you think you've made the lives hard enough, so
That's
that's
enough,
great.
Michelle. That's enough for now. For now.
You've
Excellent
got
job.
I just had to put a little obstacle in your way. You can't just
Oh,
go there.
I
Yeah.
love the idea that the security team are all like, "Okay, let's go." Like, they're the kind of guys who are clear-headed
Yeah.
when they wake up. I don't know how
Mm,
humans do that, but some of them can do that. And so they're
mm.
already, like, strapping on their belts and moving down this corridor. In fact, just to dip into the doom a little bit, what if some of them get through and some of them don't? And, like, how the team is
Oh, I
split
like
in
the split.
half now.
Mm.
Um
Mhm.
and so they're already, I think they're quite, well trained for this sort of thing, and so they're already pulling out tools to hack into the control panel or whatever, and some of them are possibly trying, like, maybe they've got little laser cutters and are just trying to get through the door, physically get through it and take it out of the way. Who knows what problems that will cause further down the line when we don't have fire doors, but for now, they're just dedicated to getting to the problem.
Mm.
I think this is a
Would you
roll.
like
Do we
would
think
you,
Jessamine needs to roll to see if they
I'd
can
love
get
to.
through?
yeah,
Let's do a
I think
roll.
we should do a little roll here because no one's rolled anything yet. So far, it's been
Oh.
wonderful narrative and people making each other's lives worse. Let's do something. So Jessamine,
Yeah.
you can sort of think about how you potentially want to like circumvent this like blast door security lockout.
Mm.
Whenever it comes time for your characters to do an action, you can approach it in one of three ways. You can use reach, grasp, or sleight. Reach is sort of the um, aggressive sort of you'd be trying to do this like diving into this head like feet first and just damn the consequences, so it's quite high risk high reward. Grasp is sort of taking a more methodical approach, attempting to see what kind of ways you can mitigate failures.
Mhm.
So there's a low chance of failure if you're using grasp, or you can push through, but you will sort of like deal with the consequences. Or slight is if you're sort of doing something sneaky and things like that, where you're balancing the ramifications of trying to get away with
Mhm.
it.
Okay.
So yeah, how does your character try and circumvent this, do you reckon?
So she is sort of proficient, as it were, in grasp and sleight, which I think
Hmm.
is suitable, that she's more of a laid back kind of person. She also has some skills. Can I bring some skills to bear here? Because she actually
Yeah.
has, believe it or not, from this little wallflower, she has skills in command.
Ooh.
Ooh.
So I wonder if she's able to, possibly using sleight, kind of
Mhm.
make some suggestions to some of the security guys nearby. Presumably, they're more direct approach kind of people and they're trying to pound through. And she's like, maybe she can indicate a better way of manipulating the control panel or a weaker part of the door to try breaking through, something like that, to try and help
Mm.
them achieve the problem, the solution to the problem rather than doing it herself.
Yeah. Something interesting about the combination of command and sleight to open a door, which is like it's sort of like planting ideas, is because clearly they're sort of this is maybe like your timid character, so you're sort of like maybe you could try, etc.
Hmm.
So excellent. So for this then, it's a d6 dice pool.
Hmm.
So you start with 1d6 normally, and you are using command, which you have an aptitude in, and you are using sleight, which you have an aptitude in. So 3d6 in total.
That's pretty good, you guys.
It's pretty good. Roll those and
Let's do
tell me
it.
what your highest
Looking
result
for the
is.
highest. It's a 5. The other 2 were 1s, just so you know.
Excellent.
Thank you to the 5.
Boy.
Yes, indeed.
So depending on which of the three sort of approaches you use, you have they all have like a little different resolution mechanic. So with sleight, since the 5 is the highest you got, you get to pick two of the following results, bearing in mind the other two will happen because there are four things here. So
Mm.
one, nobody notices you, so you could say no one notices you doing this.
Mm.
Two is you leave the situation. Um, so you would be essentially, getting out of here and, getting away from these people, etc. One is just you achieve your goal. That's a really good thing to be able to say you've done. And the other is you don't trigger a medium fallout, which is like narrative, powerful ramifications. So you, because you got a 5, get to pick two of these, and the other two will happen.
So I pick two that don't, and the other two will.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
okay. So I don't think it matters if anybody notices me, so I don't mind that. I definitely want to achieve the goal. I think
Excellent. So that would
that's
be one.
that's pretty important. And then what were the
Mhm.
other two? I leave or
Leave the situation and you don't trigger a medium fallout, which would be, something bad happening, essentially.
God, Darcy wants the fallout though because that's
Yes,
interesting.
yes, they do.
Fallouts are fun.
So yeah, maybe she does leave the situation. Maybe she tells them what to do and they do manage to do it, that somebody does pay attention to what Jessamine has to say and they start acting on it. But she can see that it's taking too long and she thinks, if this is my fault, I need to cover my ass. I need to go and fix this before it gets too bad and people notice it's my fault. So I'm going to find an alternate route. And I wonder if
Ooh.
she knows a different route that is longer but might avoid these fire doors, or if she does something really sneaky, since this was a slight roll, and climbs up into the vents and starts just crawling her way there.
Excellent. That's fun. Like seizing the crowd for a moment, I think that essentially means that um you achieve the goal, so you help them get through the door and they're
Mm.
really happy about and you leave the situation, but they essentially they get through the door, but they cause a further problem, and they remember that it was your advice that told them to do this
Okay.
because they noticed
That's
you.
gonna come
You
back
know,
to bite me. I love that.
so so now we get to sort of choose what sort of fallout we want from this. All of the different um.
I actually have a proposal for the Fallout.
Michelle, the
I love
doom is
Yeah,
upon
go
causing
for
us,
it. Go
problems
for
for
it.
right?
Darcy.
Yes, yes,
So I'm looking at the specific fire crisis, and one of the
yeah.
possible medium fallouts is trapped.
Mm.
And Jessamine just
Oh.
climbs into the vents.
Mm-hmm.
I think that
That's
Jessamine, you're gonna climb into the vents, and then maybe like as you're clambering in, like it kind of clogs shut behind you.
Oh, okay.
And we've established that like the smoke is traveling through the ventilation system because that's how Meku was alerted to it.
Mhm.
So I think you're now in a space that is filling up with this toxic gas.
That's interesting. I love that.
oh no. Incredible.
Now let's cut away from Jessamine. Leave her there.
Yeah. It's so funny to see people playing this and the people who naturally gravitate towards the different play stances. There's always someone who loves playing Doom and things like that. And it's it's very good fun.
I think we could have
Um,
predicted that about Michelle before we started playing.
I love consequences.
uh, excellent. Yeah, I think that's a fun place to like end that scene there. But as the guide, I am obliged to tick up the Inferno clock. When we end a scene there. So do we want to? The fire is getting worse. I think by now we've sort of our security head and personnel. Do you think you would be at the source of the fire yet to catch up with Michael?
Yeah, I think like we can say that like that hold up was enough that the fire is really just like raging through the habitation area now, right? Like
Mm.
Maiku, I don't even know if you're still waiting or if you've had to like retreat. But I think that as you're there, you hear like the heavy, like thundering boots of Junus. I think probably anyone who's worked with Junus for any amount of time knows when he's coming because he has that heavy step, even for a security guard. He's always hammering down the hallways at speed. Um, and I think you just hear him shout out, Baiku, just stand aside.
All right. And I didn't describe my character, Maiku. I will say dark skin, a lot of braids on their head, mostly to keep out of a lot of the work they do, so it's not easily kept away. A lot of tattoos on their neck, on their shoulders, and sort of wearing that typical mechanic jumpsuit as well. And says, do your job, clear out the fire so I can fix whatever the heck is wrong in there.
I think Judas kind of you see like his eyes narrow for a moment in a kind of I don't take orders from you, but it's not like you are right. That is what he needs to do, so he's going to allow it for now. But I think like as he barges past you, like he kind of makes a point of drawing himself up to his full high height, a sort of physical reminder of rank. I think he's carrying a fire extinguisher that he's grabbed on his way. I imagine they're sort of around the ship at intervals. So he's grabbed one, and I think he's just yeah, he's launching forward. He's gonna start trying to extinguish the fire.
Hmm. That sounds like you're trying something reach-like. You're diving in head first. You want
Yeah,
to
this
do a
feels like
roll.
reach. Yeah.
Nice. Let's see what
Um.
happens.
So I get one to start with,
One
and then
to start with.
I have I have aptitude in reach. That's one of Junus's things.
Mhm.
I wonder one of the skills is just security, and I wonder if that applies here, the security skill, because I know that security,
Mm.
like firefighting, is part of their detail. So I'm trying to find the page.
Mhm. Yeah, they're
Security.
certainly traditionally like they're your combination police force slash yeah, like if you need people to dive headfirst into danger and do a thing, then
Hmm.
security would totes be trained. So I feel like they're probably the folk who also got the firefighting training
Okay.
and everything. So I think you could probably use security for this as well.
Okay. Then I'm gonna go for a 3d6 roll.
Excellent.
Reach. My highest was a 5.
Okay, so you get what you want, but you trigger a light fallout as a result.
Ooh.
So what you want, I assume, was to make the fire slightly better.
Yes, definitely.
So yeah, I will tick our inferno clock down by one then, since you are uh, yeah, removing a tick. Yes, when you're um fighting fires. So we're back down to three on the inferno clock, which is good.
Yay.
But a light fallout is going to happen.
I'm
Um,
wondering, we're talking about a lot of very competent people with clear positions. I'm wondering if
mhm,
there are rubberneckers around, people that just are curious, might get in the
mhm,
way. So I'm looking at Playstand's crowd. Are there
mhm,
people who are ignoring the alarms? They are trying to get a closer look. They want to know what's happening. They are being reckless, irresponsible. They are
mhm.
spreading gossip. They heard it was an arsonist.
Ooh, I like
Ooh.
this.
There is
Maybe
no
it's like
proof, but this is going to make things complicated because now people are
Mhm.
going to be defensive, scared, trusting, untrusting. Why are the
Mm.
doors closing? Is this a conspiracy? Are you hiding, sheltering the arsonist?
ooh, I love this. I can see this is a problem as well because it's gonna slow down the security team, like, they're gonna have to deal with this now. And
Mhm.
if they were trained by Junus, then clearly people skills aren't their forte, so, I
Ooh.
think that's really cool.
So I'm looking at that as a like sort of a kind of light crowd fallout in that case.
Mhm. Yeah, one of the light crowd fallouts that we have that would probably work here would be slighted, which
Yeah.
essentially makes it harder to do stuff in an area because people are getting riled up, etc.
Crowds.
Um, yeah, and that's great because that infers like to pick up the historian role for a split second. Why do people think this is arson? Do you reckon there's been a history of like have minor things been going wrong? Has there been like you know has there been a big thing, or has there just been lots of little things where people are convinced that there's you know sabotage happening somewhere? Why would someone sabotage an arc ship, etc.?
Open
I
fire
open the
should
floor to
be
you.
extremely rare in these ships.
Mhm.
Extremely. I think it'd be very for people not to see open flame often. Maybe the lack of seeing it with your eyes sort of mystifies it a bit.
Mm, mhm. Would you
Maybe
think, like, people might not have seen flames since they left Earth, like,
Maybe.
decades ago? You know, is that like
Yeah.
So,
I feel like maybe there's been some tensions lately on the ship, just over not even related things, but just things have been getting a bit heated, huh? In like in the community on the ship. Like I'm kind of imagining, we didn't say this explicitly, but like the current people who are awake are probably getting towards the end of their stint, and
Mm.
soon they'll be
Mm,
going back into cryosleep. So they've been around each other and really in each other's faces for a while now, right? They've been awake for maybe a couple months doing jobs, and there's just been some interpersonal drama is what I'm imagining. Maybe like we've got the archive up on the navigation deck that has all of the fun things that we've saved from Earth, and maybe people have been arguing over what's important and what's better. They've been getting into old Earth disputes about like which is a better band, little things. And all of this stuff is just riling up, and now people have started to just there's a fire and people are panicking and they're starting to go, I bet it was so and so. I bet someone like that they're responsible, like, they're always getting up to stuff. I'm like, why haven't they put this out? Why didn't the alarms go off? Do you think somebody sabotaged the ship? And like they're just all of those tensions are bubbling up.
those
Mm.
people who want to go back to olden ways.
Mm.
Didn't we discuss when talking about the different factions that there was a faction who was treating the AI of the ship slightly differently and beginning to kind of worship it to a degree?
Yeah, I think we didn't quite get to worship it, but we were saying that like some people on the ship talk to it almost like it's a person and a friend, and
Mhm.
some people think
Mm.
that's ridiculous because it's just a ship AI. Not at all drawing from real life.
No.
So I think that maybe there were some people. That's kind of cool. That maybe some of those people who do like talk to the ship think that like it's because we've upset her.
Oh,
Like if
Someone's
people were more
trying to
respectful,
hurt her.
someone's trying to
yes.
hurt her.
Love
Yes.
that.
mm, yeah.
So
'Cause,
all of
you know,
those like mundane day-to-day quibbles as well, but then with this like sinister undercurrent of like
mm,
AI changing, people talking to gods or having hallucinations. um, yeah, a serious
yeah,
undercurrent of no, this is actually what it is, and perhaps that could be a consequence where it begins to gain credence and get passed around more and more.
I like this. So
yeah,
it's almost like this panic is causing people to react in very strange ways and getting in the way of actually doing something useful.
mhm,
I love that.
yeah,
Do we
absolutely.
think that's the end of this scene? As Junus
I
is
think so.
trying to fight the fire, and while his other security team members are busy trying to get everyone out
Mm.
of the way.
Yeah, really cramped corridors, and you've got people starting to argue about like the mysticism of this fire, and how strange it is. And people are saying, "Oh, the computer should have woken us up, and they didn't. Someone's sabotaging
Mm.
it. Oh my gosh, someone's trying to sabotage our burgeoning deity, etc." And it's just a firefighters, security shouting over the cacophony, just like, "Let us through, please!" As they're trying to get to the fire. Amazing.
It's like the problem isn't the fire at all.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like
the problem is
technically,
humans.
Technically, it is,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
it's a
Someone's
symptom.
iPad has just, like, gone on fire. This should be easy to solve, and yet, because of these problems, it's extending and getting worse.
Mhm.
Uh, so, yeah, so we'll go into a new scene then. So the fire will continue to get worse now.
Mm.
It is spreading. I think at this point, it's probably no longer contained to that hamper. I think it's, like, starting to catch into, um, like, burning through, um what you call it, ducts and everything, like fires getting like sucked along with the air conditioning.
Mhm.
Ooh,
Because I
magic
think it
suggestion.
might be fun. 'Cause one of the things we can do, speaking, as someone who is a fellow lover of doom and terrible things happening, one we currently have 4 ticks on the Inferno clock, and we can decide to spend 3 ticks on that to make the fire spread to another deck, to another location.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
And if we look on our
Mhm.
little map, the place that's next to this is the seed repository.
Yes.
The really important thing it's our sort of, yeah. And that's where my character is. So entirely selfishly, I think that we should spread this fire, and ramp up the drama, and then I get to introduce my character as well.
Okay.
yes.
Does
Okay.
that work?
So we're
Uh,
gonna bring. Does that mean we're bringing the clock down to just one tick? But
yeah.
in
So the clock
doing
that.
so, we're
Mhm.
endangering.
So now we have
Yeah,
two fronts to fight on. We need two sets of characters trying to bring it to
Yes.
succeed.
yeah,
That's so cool.
I love
yeah,
this. Okay. I love how you said selfishly, Elaine. Selfishly, I'm going to put my own character in mortal peril. Like,
yeah.
love that you're
Mm.
also a lover of doom. Like, how,
Like,
what is your character doing when they become aware the fire is spreading?
yeah, so I think this is my character is Margaret, aka Mags, as she's known. She's sort of in her mid 20s. She has some kind of bulky optical augmentations. Um, femme presenting. She is a sort of horticulturalist, and she is one of the scientists who looks after this massive repository of seeds and spores, etc., all taken from Earth. And her sort of like personal um like goal is to just see what these seeds can become, because Earth was so like irradiated in the fall and everything. A lot of these seeds have gone into the vault, and she looks wistfully at like old horticultural magazines, Gardener's Digest and everything, and like she's seeing these like, cryogenically frozen little seeds and imagining what they could be. And maybe every now and then she's allowed to plant something, especially if it's something that will give like spice or whatever. But she dreams of growing a tree. Incredibly impractical. You cannot grow a tree on an Ark ship, but Mags would love to do that. So she's sitting there, it's like, she's been awake for months. They've been running some tests. They've like been making sure like the germination rates and everything are okay. One of the scientist legacies, which are sort of these societal pressures that we get to establish during setup, is that the hydroponics bay must always operate at peak efficiency. So right up until the moment people go to sleep, someone must be there. So even though things are winding down, Max is there. She's reading her magazine when she like smells the smoke and looks up and starts to see flames flicking through. And she just, dramatic camera pans down, eyes going wide as you see bays and bays of these like preserved seeds and like seedlings and plants and everything.
Mm.
And she just curses in about a half dozen different languages, and frantically like hits alarms and like is shouting concern that this is happening, because I guess this is kind of burned through a deck, so she hasn't been aware of what's happening up there. And now
Mm.
it's spreading and it's bad.
I think to jump into the Ark play stance, you'd hear a ship announcement specifically in that area saying, um, caution, resource allocation, water distribution from hydroponics is now being sent to cargo bay.
No, 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 like panic and everything as like the flame, because I guess like she would expect sprinklers to come on,
Mhm.
and you see the ruddy water of like stagnant like starting to come down, and then it just trickles to a stop and the flames are like coming, and
Mhm.
it's just like a panic. So yeah, like Max might try. There's because I think we've established that there's probably like, fire extinguishers and whatnot littered about. How useful they are, I don't know. So I think Max might try and like grab one of these fire extinguishers and have a go.
Mm.
But I think she's kind of panicking here. She's a scientist. She should use grasp to do this really meticulously, but she's just in this pure moment of panic. But yeah, so yeah, Mags, she's gonna grab one of these fire hydrants. After I said that she would totally jump in headfirst and panic, very, very smart, very in character decision. Mag's skills are science and classics. So I will
That's
be rolling
knowledge.
1d6 for this.
I love that. Okay.
Uh, uh,
What'd you
I got a
get?
2. I got a
Oh.
2 on
Oh,
reach,
it all
which
goes
means
wrong. You don't get what you want and also trigger a severe fallout.
Oh,
oh no, oh
damn.
Mags, oh
Oh,
dear.
Mags. Why does Mags not get what she wants, Elaine? Like, how does this backfire?
Hmm. That's interesting. I think there's probably something in um I feel like there are a lot of wrong ways to use a fire extinguisher, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Probably.
Probably I feel like there's she does something. It's like she picks up maybe the wrong one, that's normally meant to use for like electrical fires or something. And in this situation, it causes like a blowback in because it's coming through these air conditioning things, right? So I think it's maybe like a hard foam compacted one that's meant to like seal hulls or something. But what she actually does is like clog part of the air conditioning that causes a big blowback, and like the air conditioning duct superheats and just like, kaboom, and fire go bad. Um, what
Do
is
we think this is an inferno fallout then? If you've caused like the fire to
Ooh,
explode out?
that is
Sounds like.
yeah, a crisis fallout for fire, yeah, Inferno. Anyone want to play Doom or the Ark and narrate this?
Go on, Michelle.
I'm
More like
I want to jump in. Okay. Yeah, so I think that you try to use this fire extinguisher, and in the panic of it all, you've just grabbed the wrong one, as you said. Rather than suppressing the fire, something in it reacts with the chemicals that cause this fire and just cause it to blast out. I think Mags is thrown back, not necessarily burned, but the sheer force throws her backwards. I think that some of those precious plants that she's so gently and
Mhm.
tenderly cultivated are like the glass hydroponics capsules are shattered. They are bent and broken on the ground, and flames lick towards them, lighting up their roots. This place is alive, not with plant life anymore, but with flame. And
God.
the flame is also spreading through the vents where Jessamine is trapped.
this would be a space with a lot of chemical fertilizer, highly oxygenated
Mm.
spaces.
Mhm.
Oh God. Yeah, yeah.
It's
Um,
it's bad in here. It's bad for
Incredible.
Max.
So that means we add the hostile tag to this location, which means that
Oh,
any viewpoint characters who end their turn here become fatigued or essentially start being hurt. HP is very, very sort of simple in this. Your characters just go from being healthy, and then you're fatigued, injured, and then dead. So you essentially kind of only have 3 to 4 HP. And Mags is now fatigued because that would be probably the end of that encounter.
I
Mm.
And
think
yeah.
so.
Mhm.
I wonder if anyone else knows about Mags in this room because we were focused on that one person in that mess hall.
Mhm.
Mm.
And
I
everyone
think
leave. If she's been up
yeah.
to the night, then she may not have told anybody where she was.
Mm. We just have to hope that the Ark ship will come to our rescue, because
Mm.
surely Mags did not turn the sensors off in hydroponics.
Hello again, everyone. Everything is fine. The ship is on fire on 2 different decks, and 2 of our crew are in mortal peril, but it's gonna be fine. Shall we check in with Jessamine, trapped in the air conditioning system, which has
Yeah,
currently got flames spreading through
I think she's got some marshmallows and she's just having a really nice time. She's cozy. It's cold in space. No, she's panicking. She's full on panicking at this point, and I don't know how you would escape a fire that is heating up the environment that you are in. So I think it's just blind panic for them, just crawling as fast as they can, trying not to inhale too much of this smoke that is swirling around her, so it's like almost hyperventilating these short, sharp breaths, trying to just keep her body going. She has no idea where she is in the ship now. She didn't know where she even not even entirely sure where they were when they crawled into the vent, and has now just struck out in a direction and is hoping to find somewhere, every so often stopping to just like pound on the floor and hope that some grate or some loose tile will open up beneath her and let them escape.
Mm.
So maybe I wonder if maybe as Maiku and Junus are trying to like they've started to push this fire back in the kitchen
Mm.
area to get towards the controls, they suddenly hear just like a clonk 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 pounding noise from above. And I think Junus just is like turns and like shouts, "Hey, engineer! Is it meant to do that?"
Not meant to do that. Fine. Heavy duty gloves come on. I imagine these metal panels are hot, and we're just going to climb up, jump up on a platform, on a crate, loosen some grates, duck in case something else comes out. More fire. This place is on fire.
Mm. I
Are,
Yeah.
think
are
just
you
a billow of smoke appears first.
are you face first, feet first?
Let's say that it was right underneath the midsection, and it's just like a splat. It's just an absolute what is it called when you fall off the diving board and just completely
Belly flop.
Belly flop.
Belly flop?
belly flop into the communal kitchen, just coughing and spluttering, the smoke in their lungs, and then the winding of landing belly flopped on the floor, just a hacking mess.
Oh,
I think Junos just kind of looks at this, um, and then turns back to you, Michael, and is like, "All right, you've got key crew here. You've got enough to fix this up. I'm gonna get these people out of here." And he's gonna turn and he's just bellowing to the assorted rubberneckers, like, "We are leaving this deck. We are going this way." And he's going to try and shepherd people towards what he thinks is a safe direction, which is the cargo deck. There's no fire there, right?
no.
That should be the safest place.
Yeah, that should be safe there. There's a hydroponics plant. There's lots of water supply to that area. It will be fine.
I definitely feel like that should be a roll to see how effectively you manage to corral these rubberneckers, though, right? Like,
Yeah, you're probably
Yeah.
right. I think okay. I think actually, yeah, he's shouting, "We're gonna move. We're gonna move."
mm,
Um, but I think that he's having trouble like getting people's attention. So he's gonna like clap his hands together in a very loud way that he does. He's slapping his palms together to echo it around this space over the noise of the burning.
mm.
Um, and he's just gonna shout, "If you want your precious emergent intelligence to survive, you're gonna have to move." Do you think she'll be happy with the way you're reacting?
Ooh,
Um,
Ooh.
and I think this is kind of I'm aiming for slight here. I think he's trying to manipulate people
yeah,
by
I see that.
tapping into their panic about
Mhm.
the ship and its like her being harmed by all of this.
I love that.
Mm.
Um, just I think that would be a fun way to approach it.
Yeah. So this should be a pretty good role for you. Picking up the guide for a second because you have a command. So because your command, you have security. Well, this is definitely a security thing because you're corralling the populace. But also you get a ability as you are a member of security, which gives you an additional dice when directing others to take action.
Oh
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Um, yeah, so
Okay.
you'll get 4 dice for this check.
Okay.
Um,
Amazing.
Come on,
Four
Michelle.
dice. Wow, they didn't roll very well. Oh, I did get 1 5. 5 is the best. Most of them
5
were
is
like
the
ones and twos, but I got a 5.
okay, okay. Yeah, as previously, when we did a slight roll, you have this little list of 4 things, and you have to pick two to happen, and the other ones will happen. No one notices you. You leave the situation. You achieve your goal. You don't trigger a medium fallout. You
Okay.
get to
Well,
pick
I
two.
think no one notices you doesn't really
Doesn't quite
apply
work.
here because we're
Yeah.
people.
The opposite.
I guess you would
Yeah.
interpret it as people notice that he's being manipulative. We could maybe pull on that. I
Yeah.
think leave the situation and achieve your goal, kind of in a way are the same. He's getting out of here. He feels that he's done enough. And
Mhm.
he wants to get all of these people who are not helping out of here. Of course, what he doesn't know is his goal's maybe not a great idea. So I think it
Mm,
is going to be those two. And I think like the way we make notice someone noticing interesting is that maybe some of the security team who know Junus well and know he doesn't believe in all of this stuff about the Ark having emergent intelligence. He thinks it's nonsense. I think
oh.
they maybe aren't very impressed at seeing their leader like manipulating and
Mm.
like being underhanded in this way. And like they'll remember that. And it might mean that his authority is undermined in future.
Love that.
As
Right.
historian playstands, how
Mm.
has your character personally been involved in undermining or developing trust? Is the security crew on this ship a trusted and reliable force, or is it like push back against authority, or maybe more sinister?
Oh, I love that. I think that the the security crew uh their tenets are all about you can trust them, right? But I think that Junus, since he's been in charge, has more and more kind of demanded rather than commanded respect. Um, People have to trust him because they have no choice. When there's an emergency, they have to call to security, and who else is going to answer? That they're the only ones here. Um,
Mhm.
I think that there's something there that maybe some of the security team enjoy having that power to lord over people, but maybe there are some of them who are starting to feel uneasy with the amount of authority they're able to wield over the rest of the crew.
Yeah, there's
Mhm.
definitely someone shouts and people respond out of fear. Or someone shouts, people respond because they trust that voice.
Hmm. And
Yeah,
I think the fear is more of what's happening right now.
Mhm.
incredible. As the guide, I think we have a couple of little buttons that we can push here, which are very fun. First of all, we did save a character from being trapped in the fire, so
Yay!
we get to tick our clock down by one, which is fun. So we're down to one at the moment.
Nice.
Also, we have a little subsystem here, which I think would be perfect to touch on right now. The game has like a few little subsystems in terms of like, oh, if you want to go wake someone up from cryo, there's a thing, etc. And there's a subsystem called discontent, which I think is perfect right now.
Oh.
And it can trigger when a handful of different things happen, and one of them is the Arc Society learns how established leadership is abusing their power. And I think because you have pulled on sleight and you're trying to manipulate like this like growing demographic of people who are like, starting to like put more and more trust and worship in this machine, etc. I think we can have a little discontent roll. Someone, I think this would normally be like the crowd or someone who could roll this. But we increase the discontent score by one. So right now it's just one. So someone who's like embodying the crowd would roll 1d6.
Oh, all
I'm
right.
happy to
And
be the crowd for that.
Oh, do it, do it, do
do,
it.
Because I can
do
see you
it.
reaching for the llama d6, and I will not allow it.
We don't trust that D6.
So it's only a 2.
It's
No,
this is
2
a
is good in this instance then, right?
but
Lower is better.
this is a sci-fi danger game.
No, you will kill my character again. So I rolled a 2, so that's good if it only
You
goes
roll a
up to
two.
2. Yeah.
That's well. It's so the way that the discontent works is you roll your 1d6, and every time discontent grows, you would add one to that result. And if you roll a 6 or more, it triggers a crowd fallout, and that's like
Oh,
riots or whatever.
Cool,
So
cool,
you
cool.
didn't do anything bad just now. And also, anytime if you were to roll a 4 plus, it would increase discontent by one. So it's this snowball. So you have planted the seed of discontent in this scene, and if you're playing a big campaign game of this, it would start to ferment and grow until it explodes one day, and you'd be able to trace it back to this moment.
Hmm.
I
Um,
love that.
It
So
wasn't just rumors and whispers. There's a crowd witnessing this pandering.
Mhm.
yeah,
mhm,
yeah, and I think that's
mhm.
going to start to draw the lines between those who believe and those who don't more
Mhm.
openly, right?
Yeah. Why
Love.
should we follow a human being who is fallible in telling us where to go? Especially, dramatic irony. They're about to run into a wall of fire.
Mhm.
The security told them to go. This is going to be a problem for
Maybe the security
generations.
was trying to get rid of them.
Ooh,
We
Oh,
sent all
you're
of the true
stirring
believers
the
into the
pot.
inferno.
Oh.
Oh my god.
oh my goodness. Oh, Junus, what have you done? Um, so do we think is that also because there's also a medium fallout to trigger here because I also didn't
Yeah.
think that one. So do we think that is it, or do we think there's something
Oh.
additional here going on?
No, let's do an additional just for fun.
Which medium do we want then?
I
Uh,
guess your viewpoint at this stage, right? That's your play
Yeah,
sense
I
right now.
mean, yeah, I guess it could be as simple as Junus gets injured. It could
Yeah.
be
Mm,
he could be injured in the scrum of trying to get through, or we could kind of roll it on a bit and say that we know that where he's leading them is like a bad direction. And maybe the way
mhm,
he finds that out is when he's doing his brisk walk, leading everyone, sort of snapping his fingers, come on, and just walk straight around a corner into where flames are licking out of an air
Mm,
conditioning vent
Mhm.
I like that.
and he's gonna get burnt across the side of his face. He's tall, he's right next to it, and that will push him down into the I think the fatigued
Fatigued.
level.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
cool.
I like that. Excellent. How dramatic.
So
Mhm.
dramatic. I love it. Should we
Uh,
continue with what Maiku and Jessamine are gonna do now to
Yeah, in the
lead
in
Okay.
the
the rest of
wake
the
of
crowd
that.
away?
mhm.
Can we both be viewpoint at the same time?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Cool. So I think Jessamine has been completely unaware of all of this going on because they're still just hacking up one long, trying to bring themselves back around. But by the time that Junus has gone and the crowd has mostly dispersed as well, I think Mikey might turn to find them sat on the floor, just like hands across their knees, just trying to breathe. And she'll look up and say, "Is that a friend of yours?"
I don't think that person has ever had a friend. That's the kind of person who brought candy, to the first day of lessons to make friends. Anyway,
That's such a deep cut. Wow.
Savage.
He's gonna need aloe vera for both of those burns in his pocket.
which would be available in the hydroponics bay, but
Unfortunately, not anymore.
Mm.
Um,
the alarms should have gone off. We
I
should have
didn't.
known faster.
I don't know. I didn't have anything to do with it. I
I
swear.
I didn't ask that. What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting I had nothing to do with it. That's
I
all. I'm just
the
people
course of
assume
action is
things.
fixing it now because if we don't know any other five people could be walking into a place that is unarmed.
Okay,
So
yeah, I can do that.
I need help with access and I need to rewire some things to ensure it's all working. So
Okay.
there's a control panel right over here. Come on.
That one looks a little bit damaged. I don't know if it's gonna. Maybe we better heading to navigation, and then we can get like an overview of the whole system. And I can. I mean, I've never been allowed to work directly.
We are going to navigation and it
Okay.
will be fine.
Yes,
And we're going to get this under control. Let's move.
I like your energy. I'm following you.
We are walking. We are moving.
We are walking.
We are walking. It's like a West Wing shot of like we're walking. You're going through the
Walking
arc ship,
talk.
you
Yeah.
know. People are like the crowd, people are like popping out and being like, what's going on? And you're like, getting
We are we are
Walking.
we are resolving the situation. It will be okay. Give us space and we'll let you know how it goes.
I
Because
smell
one of
smoke.
then you should go somewhere safe. One of
We're
Miku's
safe.
traits
We're in
is a
space.
is
Okay.
leader.
Ooh.
So they have a trait where when things fall apart, they say how it'll be put back together.
Oh,
They
nice.
do relish in leading group efforts to repair or rebuild something. So there are benefits, and I think it does mitigate the levels of harm in the game should this happen.
I love that.
That's cool.
I'm kind of picturing, if I can take like the ship play stance for a moment. I think we can see like that shot of Maiku like confidently striding, outstriding even Junus with the confidence and leadership of that stride, with Jessamine kind of scuttling behind towards navigation, and then we kind of pan across to another part of the ship where Mags is still trapped inside the room. Um, but possibly is hearing the shouts of others on the other side of like a door which is locked down. And yeah, I think it might be fun to check on Mags and see what she's up to.
Mhm. Max is fatigued.
Mm.
Fire very bad and getting worse. I think it's maybe an interesting point to talk about beats, which are like whenever you make a character, you get to there's a bunch of different beats, some that come from like your cohort and where you come from and everything, which are just like little narrative sort of things that you can tick off that you would like your character to experience, and they're not always good. It's like what makes an interesting story. And one of the ones I do have for Mags as a beat is to suffer grievous physical harm due to your beliefs. So I think Max is already fatigued and it's like waking up as the fire is like spreading through this. And I think, fire extinguisher didn't work. So I think she's going to take a more drastic action of trying to vent the atmosphere in here, just like suffocate the fire. Knowing that the bulkheads are all locked down and that it might mean that she, you know, dies as a result of this, but she's just like so you know, the seeds must comes first. Like it's more important than any one person, some sort of dandelion allegory or whatever. Like, it's about all of them and not just like the one. So she'll put on her actual scientist hat for this one. Since that's what she's actually good at. She's not a firefighter, but she does have where are we? Yes, I do have science and classics. She likes history, but that's not going to help her here.
Oh, what kind
And
of role do we think this is? Is it reach because she's being like reckless, or is it grasp because she's using her scientific mind to think this through?
feel like it's more likely to be grasp because she's going to do this very carefully. Like she wants to
Mm.
vent the atmosphere, but not like jettison the module or cause, she's already made things bad. She wants to fix it and somehow be redeemed in this moment. So I'm more leaning towards grasp. So I think I do only have 2d6 for this though.
Oh, but with grasp, you
Um,
can boost your roll by taking some downsides, right?
yeah.
Ooh.
If
I
you
Um,
will.
wonder if I'm looking in historian. We all love our children equally. We all love our babies equally. Max loves all the plants in here. But is there a specific seed or plant type that all things equal, but this one we gotta save the most? Is it a food? Is it a flower? Is it a tree? Is it a grass? Is it utilitarian? Is it beauty? Is it smell?
I think it's like, well, she's always dreamt of growing a tree, and what is the biggest tree in the world? It's like the redwood, right? She dreams of finding a world where you can plant a redwood and everything, and they maybe have some of these, and
Well,
that's the one that she's,
she has a sapling.
mm,
Would she have
maybe.
achieved a sapling?
Yeah, she's like been growing it in like a little parcel that she's not been supposed to. You know,
Mm,
like all the spices and the seasonings for all like, because we established that our arc ship loves food and everything. So that's the
Mhm.
main thing. But she's just got this little thing. She's trying to
Yeah.
grow this tiny tree.
mm.
Um, uh, but yeah, okay. So I'm gonna go. So it'll be 2d6. Um, uh, it's not very good.
Oh no.
Uh,
Max.
I mean, you could
okay.
risk the sapling
So
and maybe push your roll.
Max would
well, I
never.
got Well, yeah, so I got a 3, which would mean to actually so the way because we haven't this is our first grasp roll actually, because as mentioned, they all have like a different little thing. So grasp is you only get what you want if you roll a 6. Um, but if you roll below that, you can just say no fallout is triggered, but time passes, essentially. So that's why it's the scientific careful approach.
Mhm.
You're trying for a 6, and if you don't get it, you can go, ooh, okay, no. But you can boost your roll. So I rolled a 3, and you can add +1 to that to get a light fallout, +2 to get a medium fallout, or +4 to get a severe fallout. And I think if I just go +4 severe fallout, I think in this moment Mags could just do the sacrifice play. I think Mags realizes there's no safe way to vent the oxygen in here without, also making it untenable to life. So I'll bump the result, get my 6, I get what I want. She's going to vent the oxygen in here. But that would be what's a severe fallout on a viewpoint character. Uh, it would be lost
Lost.
The acting
or
character is lost. The location is ruined, or a
Oh no.
catastrophe occurs.
Oh,
And
not both.
given that you're trying to save the location,
Oh,
mhm,
so it was for
Sometimes the dice have a story to tell.
yeah. You
so
have, I think there's something fun in like a crowd moment or whatever, where because all the crowd were being sent down here, and
Yeah.
there's like this freaking bulkhead that they're seeing through, and seeing the scientist frantically like venting the atmosphere to save and snuff out all this fire and whatnot. And they get the Spock, like the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few sort of moment from science here.
Mm.
As Max is gone, gang. She got exactly 2 scenes, and I feel a small bit of heartbreak for her. But damn it, she saved her redwood tree, and maybe that can live on.
that's a big one because we need utilitarian things. We need the vegetables, we need the potato. Do we need the orchid? Yes, no. Do we need the redwood? I think if we ever get to a planet generations, there will be the Latin scientific name will have mags in it.
Oh,
yeah, I think
yes, let's go.
I think that
Yeah.
that's just that sapling that was hidden. I think we see it now because Max has taken her last breaths by it with
Mhm.
the view of
Mm.
it and the potential that it still has to grow. with her sacrifice. And I think that as Junus, is looking through with the rest of the group here that he's brought, and seeing that panic again start to arise, um, I think you hear that voice booming over, repeating the legacy, the tenets of security. We protect the arc, the mission, the community, the individual in that order. She did the right thing.
Uh,
Are they
and then
saying that to themselves or to the crowd around them?
Good question.
You
Perhaps he was
imagine this
trying to reassure himself, but I think the crowd can hear it.
Yeah,
He's
I
not.
think the crowd probably, if everybody witnessed that, they'll be like, they're already on edge, right, with everything that's happening. And then to witness somebody making such a heroic sacrifice, like some of them were maybe Max's friends, somebody that they knew or sat with at dinner. And to watch her do this right in front of them, I think that would cause at least a murmur, if not an uproar. And so that can definitely be applied by Junus to sort of calm the crowd. And I'm not sure if it
I
entirely
I
works.
don't know if it fully works. I think that he believes that reassures him, you know,
Mhm.
that
Mm,
this has all gone horribly wrong today, but she did the right thing, but I don't know that it reassures everyone.
No, because that was completely out of your control.
Mhm.
So what do you have under control?
What do
mm,
you have under control, Junus? Doesn't seem like a lot.
mm.
Yeah,
Seem like a lot. Um,
amazing.
So does that mean that the cargo deck is clear now? Does that untick?
Yeah, so we tick technically the so Max is no longer trapped, so that ticks down an inferno clock. That's lovely. Um,
Technically.
technically,
technically,
she
You're
returned
immune
Whoopee!
to
to Canada.
fire.
yeah, and a crisis, and a crisis is sorry, a fallout is removed from
Mm.
that location. So that because we were ticking up, I forgot to mention when we changed things. So we are down to one clock now. If what we're one tick on the clock, which means if we can, do we want to see if our other group can get the suppression system back online
Mhm.
and
Yeah,
solve this fire once and for all?
yeah. Let's see what you do at the navigation.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've made it to the navigation. Is this drastically further away? Is this more secure?
I think so. We established that this is like at the top, the front of the
You're
ship,
right, you're
right?
right.
So it's quite far
Mhm.
away from, and I think we also established that it was quite, how did we describe it? That it was quite clinical and calm and quiet, like
Mm.
Hmm.
quite high tech, quite like very much like the forefront of the ship in a lot of ways, that this is where the most intelligence is. Not
Mhm.
a lot of other crew are stationed here. So I imagine it's unnervingly quiet in comparison to where they've just been and what they've just seen and what is happening on the cargo deck when they arrive.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I think I think just to grab the art for a second here, I think during when we were establishing during session zero that the ship had been going for a while, and the especially key crew in the front of the ship was starting to bend towards like monastic,
Yes.
like shaving heads, and this is where the computer core is. So there maybe is like a hushed like
Mhm.
atmosphere and ambience in this place, in like the front and navigation and everything, and probably like the voice of the AI and everything will be clearer in here, and you can see it like a large computing sort of supercomputer thing, like in somewhere built into the walls and everything, and the lighting is dimmed a little bit,
Mhm.
reverential and things like that, and it's these almost the artificial ways that we can make a place feel more invested with like faith and whatnot, even though it is still technically like the bridge of a ship, which I think is a really
Mhm.
fun like contrast.
I love that.
All right. So I think Micah would approach this understanding this sort of dynamic that they're here to inherently say the ship has made a wrong judgment. Engineering, I engineer, I have to physically bypass something to make a correction. I am going against the current rule of the ship because the current rule of the ship is resulting in the fire, the danger, the threat to death, to life.
Mhm.
how would the personnel in here take that sort of information?
Mm.
I think that we said like there aren't as many crew here, but there probably are a couple of key crew
Mhm.
here who are maintaining this kind of reverential quiet as they work. I feel like they must know. They must know that there's terrible things going on in the rest of the ship. So if they're still here, they must have made the decision that, security will be dealing with the fire. We have to stay here and continue doing our jobs. So when this engineer comes bursting in and is like, "You're all doing it wrong, and the ship is wrong," um, I think that's
Mm.
not met with enthusiasm.
Mm.
I think that
Mm.
one of them, and I think it is at a glance, it can sometimes take a minute to figure out who you're talking to because they do all dress identically and have the shaved heads. So I think it takes a moment to remember who it is. Kind of turns around, sees Jessamine over the shoulder of Maiku, and has that moment of kind of, I think you almost catch a rolled eye. Um,
Oh, the shade.
yeah,
Mm.
I think there's a. Are you trying to override the authority of the key crew?
I would never. No, no, absolutely not.
We are trying to save lives right now in this moment.
Yeah, I wonder like if this is like the obstacle that like you're gonna have to
Mm.
Mm.
convince the key crew to let you mess around with their emergent deity.
Yeah.
Mm.
I
I'm
don't
gonna
think
I'm
they
gonna
would just
seize
stand aside, right? Would they?
like seize arc because I've not done an AI voice yet.
Yeah.
Because like the wrong decision that like I interpret here is that the water was diverted to cargo.
Mm.
Mm.
And there's no fire in cargo. It's a preemptive measure, and that's causing the actual problems and everything. So, like, the arc, the AI is water allocation to cargo is a preemptive security measure to ensure maximum capacity of human life and cargo will be maintained. And it's that sort of, the key crew. Yes, yes, this makes total
Mm.
sense. The kitchen doesn't. The fire will burn itself out in the kitchen. It's fine, etc. And what matters is the cargo, etc. That's their justification. They're like thin veneer for just doing what the AI tells them to.
Mm.
Yeah, and I think they kind of pick up on it and sort of say, "Yeah, the AI is trying to save human lives by protecting the cargo."
There's like a 2% like difference in terms
Yeah.
of like but like it's like let the entire kitchen burn down. 2% chance it could spread to cargo or whatever. So yeah, I think there's something in here in trying to convince either the AI or the crew. Um,
Okay, so if we're going to present this as a role to sort of clear this obstacle,
mhm.
Maiku is proficient in grasp and reach, skills,
Mm.
engineering, and science, which I don't think are very applicable, but fun to this sort of challenge.
Well,
Mhm.
Ida, can I make a
Yeah,
suggestion? Would you
please.
like me to get Jessamine to kind of run interference on these two as a fellow key crew? Perhaps she can distract them or talk to them or work on convincing them whilst you maybe do a sleight to sneak off and start doing the engineering work on Brunhilde, the AI.
Is is
Mm.
is that in? I'm curious. Is that in your character, character
Oh,
personality?
so one of the beats, the other beat that she has that I haven't hit yet is suffer great harm to protect the ark, and I wonder if she's willing at this point because she's a failure as far as key crew are concerned. She doesn't fit in. She's not able to adhere to their, like we said, almost monastic tenets. And I wonder if at this point, seeing that disparity between here and there, there's a little voice asking questions now of how much do I want to fit in with these people? And am I willing to give it up now? Am I willing to suffer the harm of being outcast from my faction?
Mm.
Which is something I'm pretty sure we established in session 0 is like leaving key crew is not possible. That's not something that you do. It's a calling for life.
Mhm.
But she's willing to take that risk with that.
Go for it.
Cool.
Yeah, I love it.
So I'm gonna do what am I proficient in? I'm proficient with grasp and sleight. I think if we're doing a manipulation thing, this is probably sleight.
Go for it.
That's
Uh,
fair.
Yeah.
And I guess I'll do this. It's the same roll that I did last time. It's command and sleight, which again is a really interesting combination. So that gets me
Yeah.
3d6.
Hmm.
Let's do it. Come on, dice. Make it interesting. I have 1 5 and 2 1s, which is exactly what I rolled the first time.
The
Really?
dice demand.
The dice demand. So on the
Amazing.
same
So
roll, I got the same roll. So that's good.
yeah. So as the guide, like this is very interesting because this is kind of like the atypical example of sleight is that you're trying to do something sneaky that will have a big effect. So once more, you get to pick two things. But for
Okay.
example, nope. So no one noticing you is a thing that
Yeah.
you can choose to do or let happen. So people might notice you, essentially circumventing the AI, or
Mhm.
you could leave the situation so people notice you, but you flee, achieving your goal you probably want, I would imagine,
I
although,
definitely want that one. And I think
and
I'm
you
willing
don't.
to accept Fallout. I wonder what is
Fallout
more
on the
interesting.
AI?
No, no, on me. Definitely not no.
On you. Okay,
On
okay.
me,
No.
Yeah.
hopefully.
Hmm.
So I
Although it
wonder
could
what
be
is
spicy if somehow the AI is damaged through your actions.
maybe. I guess I leave that. I think that'd be more interesting if that happens as a result of
Micah's roll.
Maiku's
When Micah
actions.
rolls, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right, you're right.
Mhm.
So
So
are
I
you
think
making
the
a
choice
diversion or are you clocking bodies?
this is it. And how do I make the diversion? Is it they don't notice me, like they don't notice the distraction. They go along with what I'm saying and engage in the conversation. I think she'll like try and spin up a philosophical debate at this point about the nature of Brunhilde and our
Mm.
service to her and get them engaged like that way. Or I could just run and have them chase me. I think that might work as a distraction as well. But I think no, I think I will not leave the situation and get what I want. So I will get what I want and not be noticed that I'm engaging in distraction.
Okay. So,
Mm.
which of these? Oh, I'm looking at the medium fallouts here.
Hit me,
Yeah.
Michelle of the Doom.
So I don't feel like the acting character as injured necessarily fits here because it's more of a conversation, but maybe.
Mm,
Um, all actions in this location become difficult. Could be
that's
Oh,
interesting, but it's
interesting,
going to be harder for
that's
Maiku.
that's
That's the opposite of what you
The
wanted.
opposite of what you wanted.
but it's more
But you're
interesting.
gonna, but like, she's gonna be. Sorry, they're gonna be able to do it. It's just gonna be hard. Or
Mm.
Mm.
describe how the character's efforts in this scene are largely doomed to failure.
Oh, that one.
I
Yeah.
knew you'd want that one. I read it last, being like, they're gonna want this one.
It's like we played these kinds of games together before, Michelle.
What do you think that
Um,
means
What?
for Jessamine for their efforts to be largely doomed to failure?
like she's not going to convince these people of anything, that they're so entrenched in their ideology, and she's not going one person who is a failure in their eyes is not going to be able to dig them out. If
Mm.
anything, she's going to dig them further in. She's going to lose this debate and make them feel empowered to
Oh.
continue to do what they are doing and do it worse, if anything. And if that consequence is that she is like stripped of her role, of like demoted back to the bottom of the pile or whatever, I think that's really interesting for her.
Yeah. One of
Yeah.
the medium viewpoint for fallouts can be exile, and it sounds like that might be like where you're kind of you can be exiled from your cohort as a
Mm,
result of this potentially. There's yeah, there's many fun choices.
I love
Let's
that.
see.
interesting.
Mhm.
I'm spying on your character sheet, Darcy, and it says
Ooh,
one of your traits is to trust key crew to have an unexpected answer to question or problem. The unexpected answer is go into its gut and take it out.
yeah.
Go against the AI.
I want you to do that though. I want the
You're
engineer
you're
to
you're,
start like
you're facilitating that.
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
But
absolutely.
you're buying the time for it to happen,
Yes.
Okay.
like, at great cost, and I think that that one key crew who has been, like, engaging with you
Mhm.
just looks at you in that way again, that you know that they see you as doomed to failure.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's just that pity in the gaze. Yeah.
While that's happening, we're having that Star Trek moment where we pull open a panel. You see all these disc cards, key cards come out. You gotta boop 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 boop, and you point the spanner at it. And all right.
There's a little label on it that's like, if seal is broken, void warranty and everything,
Oh, that expired 200
Um,
years ago.
Hmm. But the sticker's there, it's part of a holy testament. They must leave the sticker there.
Maiku will get their hands dirty to make a point and break the seal,
Nice.
which is one of
So
the
what would you?
beats. Perfect.
Oh,
Perfect.
excellent. We're all hitting beats now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Excellent.
Okay.
Uh,
So I feel because of this distraction going,
mhm,
I could do this carefully.
mhm.
I think this could
I
be a
would.
reach. Is that correct?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say
Can
because
I?
of the distraction, this roll can be potent,
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
which essentially you get to roll an extra d6 on top of what you would normally roll.
So this is engineering. So that should be 2, 3d6, if I'm understanding this correctly, with the potent roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All
Hmm.
right. Let's roll. We have the highest is a 6.
Let's
Nice.
go.
Yeah.
You get what you want.
We get what we want. Maiku has overridden the AI briefly and has manually forced a ship-wide alert at the highest level. Finally, everyone is in this moment, maybe not in future ones, but in this moment, everyone is notified. Level A danger, confined rooms, closed doors, buddy system, prepare fire suppression immediately.
I
Now
think
it's finally communicated.
Mm.
I think that as Mike is like maybe doing the action of like overriding the ship, you're hearing the voice saying, "Current course of action not recommended. Current course of action not," and then it just cuts off as you click that override, and it turns into this screeching, shrill alarm noise that's echoing through the ship.
Amazing.
Is
I'd
this
love to know,
something
was
new?
this like a do you think this was like a hard, like, no, just do the thing, or did you mess with its calculations? If there was only that 2%, there's something interesting narratively. If you like poked something in its calculations so that it flipped the other way and suddenly went, yeah, you know you're right. Because then that way, like, who knows in 1,000 years what a 2% change will do to a machine's like reasoning.
Mhm.
I think,
Mm.
you know.
That's actually a beat. Learn something that casts the arc in a whole new light. Was it being conservative with what was its definition of safekeeping life? And was it conservative in that?
Mm.
Was it willing to let us lose in order
Mm.
to just make sure the people in the cryogenic pods were kept away?
Mm. I
And
think
was that
there's a
necessarily the wrong thing for a long-term mission? Have you just doomed this mission and all of humanity?
mm,
Oops, who knows?
there's a to play the historian for a second. There's a concept in the novels that comes up, which is that the group that put together the ARPship projects, it was called like projects, and they only hired people like captains. They had to show aptitudes, but then subtext: to be a captain, you must be a bastard, and you must be willing to sacrifice like people's rights, expressions, and everything for the sake of the mission. And I think like maybe when you're in there, that's what's revealed to you is this moment of like they've also imparted that into this machine. Like it doesn't factor in the quality of life to its percentage calculations or something, maybe. And that's why the AI was willing to sacrifice things like the kitchen where people gathered and made meals together, and the hydroponics where people were growing spices and everything to enrich their life, because in its cold logic
Mm,
human life doesn't come into its equations. So maybe that was where you were like, no human life matters to the machine when you're in its guts, and that's could potentially change the entire course of its thing.
I love
wow.
that. I love that Mike has like changed its definition of humanity from just
Mm.
humans being alive to humans having some culture remaining.
I
Mm.
think that as the shrill shipwide alarm goes out, key crew, except Jasmine, maybe they're just like all start crying
I think Jessamine's definitely crying
for
already.
different
I
for
think she's
different
already there,
reasons.
yeah.
But there's like the ship was tampered with, was changed from the inside. This is the ship itself crying, and the people who might buy into that belief are also thinking, "Ah, the ship is crying. We've angered the ship."
And I wonder, like, how going forward from this day, attitudes towards Maiku, the person who placed their hand upon God
God.
and changed
Mm.
its mind, will be.
And then God literally cried as the sprinklers came on,
Screamed
you
in
know, and doused the flames.
And
And then,
everyone else was saved except, unfortunately, one scientist who's made a huge sacrifice. And Mikey would argue this sacrifice should not have been needed to be made at all.
because the water was diverted from hydroponics. If it hadn't been, then the fire could have maybe been stopped there. But to be the guide for the hot second, you fixed the fire suppression system, which was the
Yay!
last tick on our inferno clock. So the clock has gone down to 0. We go into crisis resolution. There's obviously a couple of different ways this could have gone, but thankfully we managed to hit the clock to 0, so the main fire is extinguished. Any remaining fires are, stamped out, etc. We have a couple of sort of resolution questions. Do your characters take part in the cleanup, or rest and recover, etc.? And general. At this point, we sort of slip into montage mode where we're. I mean, honestly, we flowed into it so naturally already. The questions of and how does this start to steer things? And we can look at things like the legacies of our cohorts and see if any of those are changing. For example, do people view security differently after this discontent starts to do? Would we add
I think you're right. Like, I think attitudes towards security are definitely affected by this. And I do think that Junus, to just hit on one of his beats, making a bad call and pinning the blame on someone else, I think in an attempt to try and get the heat off himself as this dissent is spreading, I think he definitely puts it about that it was he doesn't know Michael's name. That engineer told me it was safe in that direction. Like, did they have something to do with all of this? Maybe they were able to change what the ship did. Are they the one who got it confused in the first place? And I think that he tries to regain some position within security and the ship at large by trying to push suspicions onto Maiku.
I think doing that just sows more discontent that would start to ferment even further.
Yeah,
That's episode 2.
Divisions are going to keep forming, I think, between who believes who and who follows who.
What do we think about anyone else? Any other beats or legacies folk would like to follow up on?
Yeah, I'm looking at the Key Crew legacy. You can trust Key Crew to have an unexpected answer to a question or problem. I don't think that's true anymore in the wake of this massive change to their god, essentially. I think now you can trust Key Crew to struggle to come up with an answer to a problem, to not be able to make any decisions without first checking in with the AI, of not trusting everything that they have known up until this point, and their authority kind of waning a little bit in the wake of this event as a result.
I like that. I really like
I love that.
I think that the security legacy, you can trust security to adapt to the task at hand swiftly and effectively. I think that the idea that Max didn't have to lose her life kind of pushes back against that. And I think that somehow that belief changes. You can trust security to adapt to the task at hand swiftly and with confidence is what it becomes. As Junus keeps digging his heels in. So we had to act fast, and we did it, and we did what had to be done.
Confidence, misplaced or otherwise.
Yeah.
One of the legacies that we had for scientists, because we had the hydroponics spray must always be operating at peak efficiency, but the other one I liked was scientists must never raise their voice. I like this idea that it was frowned upon that like scientists must always be like soft spoken and like calm and whatnot. And I think with this like very very public like sacrifice play, and like the increasing sort of strange monastic view around all these sorts of things, I think there's maybe something in there that the scientist legacy also sort of starts to emerge, that scientists must be willing to put their lives on the line for science.
It's a precedent now.
It's a precedent. It becomes not just something that one person did, but it's like that sort of, oh well, the only way you can ever like they posthumously elevate Mags to this like martyr sort of situation, and that's now, even though Mags was they just wanted to grow a tree and they were just a kind of regular scientist. But it becomes this like, and it start maybe it feeds into like a toxic work culture, because it's like, oh, you got to stay late and you got to work extra things because you must always be willing to burn the candle of your life for science and all this sort of thing.
What would Mags do?
Yeah, I wonder if that redwood sapling, it's got very pride of place now in the hydroponics lab, and I think that maybe it becomes a turn of phrase amongst the scientists to say, think of Mags's tree, by which they mean think of the sacrifice she made for her scientific principles. And anytime someone starts to push back or say we're working too hard, just go, well, think of Mags's tree, and it becomes this thought-stopping cliche that pushes the scientists harder and harder.
I actually had a suggestion or an idea for one of the beats, looking at Elaine's sheet. Lie about what your data suggests. The data could suggest that the data demonstrates that there was maybe a disproportionate amount of attention on this tree. This tree is beautiful. Sure, we can get timber, lumber from it, but why was so much attention laid on this tree? Did Max know something? Does this tree have medicinal properties?
No.
Did this tree actually do something more? Why pay so much attention? Why this tree? We must solve this mystery of this tree. This tree is going to be involved in some important way. That's why Max did what they did to save it.
Yeah, and it becomes this, not just this symbolic thing, but actually a thing which very practically is taking up time and attention and
resources.
Yeah.
Like fertilizer, water, etc. Growing a tree in an arc ship is insane. And they are on a journey that's like 50,000 years, so they could grow a redwood to full size, but it would become it would have to end up becoming some sort of bizarre cultural foci that they have to gather around and everything. So
that's indeed resource intensive. I mean, there are, off the top of my head, like willow bark is an anti-inflammatory kind of thing. I don't have time to wiki Google right now what a redwood offer, but maybe this year's nothing of that.
Yeah.
So
I think we thoroughly broke this crew, you guys.
We solved the fire, but this was not a happy ending.
No.
I think the fire has gone out, but I think that we're still very much burning within the
spark has definitely been lit. Yeah.
As we continue to fly toward the destination, not sure who will be when we get there.
I think, Michael, with the engineers, it is even further entrenched. One of the legacies is engineers must never present something that they know will cause fail or harm. There cannot be any human sacrifice as part of an equation. We cannot weigh lies. This is becoming now black and white. There should not be wiggle room. There should not be measurements.
Love that.
That's so good. We're seeding all of these, like, because these are all tension points. These are like cultural norms and everything that your characters in future games are all like push and pull against and everything. I love it. Incredible. Good job, gang.
Yeah, amazing.
Thank you so much, Elaine, for joining us to take us through this game. This is so exciting. I can tell people are gonna love playing this, and we're already setting up chapter 2. Like, this is still on the journey. There's so much more to come of like actually reaching the planet and all of that part. It's really exciting.
The other half of the game is doing all of this, but for an uplifted animal species in a completely different culture, and that inevitable sort of clash point that over time these two cultures are going to meet, and what will that even look like in 50,000 years' time, etc. So, gosh, there is so much to this game. But thank you so much for joining me in scraping the surface and setting fire to an arc ship and kicking it about and
Thank you. Thank you for giving us a chance to
Yeah.
invoke doom upon each other.
We
And
got
hey,
feelings for that.
thank you, Euphoria friends, for watching us
Yeah.
torture each other's little guys who live in their imaginations for this AP. Hope you all enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed playing it. Make sure to follow Euphoria on all the the doobly doos down below, and check out Children of Time. The beta playtest is launching the day that
Wow.
we launch this AP. It's launched right
Go
now.
get it.
Go
The
Go
check
link
get
it
it.
is
out.
Go play it.
below.
It's been
Play
so
it.
much fun.
Go and flick doom on your friends.
And yeah, go and flick doom upon each other. There's lots of other crises to explore in the playtest set, not just the fire. So go have fun. Shall we do some quick outros?
Absolutely.
Friends?
Yeah. I'm saying words, so I'll continue saying words. It's been me, JC Darcy. I use they them pronouns. I'm one of the co-founders here at Euphoria. You can find me behind the Euphoria socials and not on my own because it's too much social media. I'm a GM, writer, performer, producer. I will do any of those things for money. Please come find me and offer me money. Thanks very much.
Hi, I've been Aida. You can find me at In the Pan. Again, I've been taking a break from socials. You can also find me on the Tumble Through Network playing a long form Pathfinder 2E campaign where I have an extra. Thank you so much, Tumble Through. We have a lot of fun, but I mostly live at the Euphoria video editing cave. It is my comfortable, wonderful place because I get to relive these stories played in my own little enjoyment before we all collectively added glitter to it. So thank you so much for supporting and following Euphoria.
Elaine, do you like to tell the people where to
Yeah.
find you?
Yes, I have been Elaine Lithgow. I'm the producer at Rook and Decard, one of. And Children of Time is my precious baby, working alongside author Adrian Tchaikovsky and Mina McGenda, who's the lead designer on this. You can find me on social medias. I am very unoriginal, so you can just search for Elaine Lithgow. I'm mostly on Blue Sky nowadays, where you can hear me rant about various game design things and share pictures of my cat and my garden, etc. And otherwise, yeah, Rook and Decard, we have a Discord. You can join there. You can nerd out about Children of Time and other games with us, and I will be haunting that space as well. So I'm sure I will see you wonderful people somewhere out in the wilds.
And I have been and remain Michelle Kelly. My socials are at Michellecopter. I also write my own weird little games that you can find at michellecopter.itch.io. I'm an actor, voice actor, pro GM, game designer, general layabout, and purveyor of doom. And I've had a great time here today. Thanks for joining us, friends. We'll see you next time we're on another adventure. Bye for now.
We're waving.
And we're waving. And we're waving.
Bye bye.
And we're smiling.